Hey guys, today we'll be talking about 5 college quarterbacks the Miami Dolphins should consider drafting in the 2020 NFL Draft. Please remember to leave a like and subscribe if you like the videos. And we're going to have a question of the day. So the question of the day today is, which quarterback do you think the Miami Dolphins should draft, and which pick do you think they should draft it at? So the Miami Dolphins, they have the 5th, 18th, and 26th pick in the 2020 NFL Draft. Brian Flores has to pay attention to the quarterback position because it is a major need on the team currently. Now let's hop into the top 5. Number 5 on this list, we have Jordan Love. Jordan Love had a great sophomore season, throwing 32 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, and 3,567 passing yards. Overall in 2019, as a junior, he had a major step back, only throwing 20 touchdowns, 17 interceptions, and 3,402 passing yards. Some positives of Jordan Love is that he is great in the pocket and very smooth and is a confident thrower. Also, he is very accurate in between the hashes. Some of the negatives is that in his last 6 games, he went on a 6-game interception streak, also throwing 3 pick sixes, which isn't a very good sign for NFL prospects. His overall grade was a 6.35, which means he should be a starter in between a year or two, which isn't terrible. And his draft day comparison is Blake Bortles, which, as most NFL fans know, isn't really the best for a prospect. Our conclusion on this is that overall, if they were going to pick Jordan Love, it would mean that all 4 of the other quarterbacks on this list would have already been drafted, and they have no choice. He was most likely going to go anywhere in between the 3rd and 5th round in the draft, and if they got him, he wouldn't be the worst option, but he probably wouldn't start this season anyways. Now on to number 4. Number 4 on this list, we have Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts played 3 seasons in Alabama and transferred his senior season to go play at Oklahoma. In his senior season in Oklahoma, he threw 32 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, and 3,851 passing yards. Hurts is also a very impressive running quarterback since he rushed for 1,298 yards, 20 touchdowns, and averaged 5.6 yards per attempt. Some positives of Jalen Hurts is that he fits the mold of a dual-threat quarterback in the NFL. It is becoming more modern for a dual-threat quarterback to be able to run and throw the ball. So most quarterbacks who just stay in the pocket and can only throw, such as Tom Brady, Drew Brees, Phillip Rivers, some of the older quarterbacks, are starting to die off. Second, he is 38-4 in college football, which is a very impressive record and shows that he's a winning quarterback, so he can bring some winning mentality to the Miami Dolphins. Third, he is a tremendous leader. He can lead this team to the playoffs, lead this team to the conference if they can get to that point in a couple of seasons. On the other hand, Hurts struggles with, off throws because he rushes so much, so he'll have off-scheduled throws where he just kind of hucks one randomly, which isn't very good once you get to the NFL because defenses get smarter and better. He's also not the best at staying in the pocket, and he needs to trust the pocket more because in the NFL, you have to run and pass the ball if you want to be an impressive quarterback. If you just run the ball, you'll end up either getting hurt or you'll end up just throwing interceptions and throwing bad throws, such as Johnny Manziel, and there are many other quarterbacks who have failed going that way. Overall, Hurts is a day 2 quarterback, most likely, and this can lead the Miami Dolphins to be able to draft an edge rusher or offensive tackle to bolster that offensive line or defensive line and bolster more of the offense and defense with their first-round picks, using it on other positions. Now let's head to number 3. Number 3 on this list, I put Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow started 2 seasons with LSU and had a breakout year last season. Burrow threw 6 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, and 5,671 passing yards. The main reason why he's not number 1 on this list is because it would take lots of draft picks and lots of trading to be able to get number 1 from the Bengals. Overall, this would not be a good idea for the Miami Dolphins because they have lots of other needs on the team other than just quarterback, so this would not be in their best interest to be able to trade away all their first-round picks just for the number 1 overall pick. Some positives of Joe Burrow is that he's one of the smartest quarterbacks, and his football IQ is incredibly high. Second, he knows how to fake out the safety by fake glancing in one direction so he can have the open throw. Third, he threw in some impossible windows in the college football season last year, which impressed all NFL teams across the board. Some negatives of Joe Burrow is that many people fear he can be a one-hit wonder because this was his only good season. He really only broke out this season and did not have a good season any other year. Basically, that's the main only negative of him. Burrow is graded at a 7.07, which is Pro Bowl caliber talent. He is compared to Kurt Warner, who is a Hall of Famer and one of the best quarterbacks of his era. Overall, if the Dolphins wanted Burrow, they would have to give up a lot of pieces, which would not make sense at the time. So that is why I have Burrow at number 3. On to number 2. At number 2 on this list, we have Tua. Tua started 3 seasons at the University of Alabama as the starting quarterback. Tua threw 87 touchdowns, 11 interceptions, and 7,442 passing yards. Some of the positives of Tua is that he is a dual-threat quarterback, which is the modern type of quarterback in the NFL today. He is a very talented dual-threat quarterback who can sit in the pocket and read the play and throw a good, accurate, short pass, and he can also run the ball and get money yards. Some negatives of Tua is his injury history. Tua has had ankle injuries, wrist injuries, hip injuries, and the list goes on. This is scary for most NFL teams because as a franchise quarterback, you don't want your quarterback to be fragile and hurt all the time. You want him to be able to, withstand, play 16 games every season and lead team to deep playoff runs. Over his draft day comparison is Mark Brunell, who was the New York Jets quarterback in the 1970s. Overall, in my opinion, it is a risk to draft Tua because if he gets hurt, you're basically wasting the 5th overall pick where you could have had someone who's more reliable and who could have withstand more games. But if he does work out in the NFL, whichever team drafts him will get a Pro Bowl caliber quarterback who can run and pass the ball really well and one of the most talented players in this draft. It's a risk, and a risk that most teams aren't really willing to take at this time. Now on to number 1 on the list. At number 1 on this list, we have Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert played 4 seasons as the starting quarterback at the University of Oregon. In his 4-year career at Oregon, he threw 95 touchdowns, 23 interceptions, and 10,541 passing yards, and led Oregon to a 12-2 record last season as a senior. The Dolphins need a reliable quarterback at the helm of the ball, which Justin Herbert fits that mold perfectly. Some more positives in him is that he has a great size and a pro-ready frame to be an NFL quarterback. Second, his throwing style is balanced, quiet, and easily repeatable. Third, Herbert has a strong arm and knows how to keep the safety planted in midfield. Scouts say that he leads by example, but is not much of a commanding presence on the field, which could be a problem for the Dolphins because they need a quarterback who can lead this team. His draft day comparison is Carson Wentz, which means he has good potential value in the NFL. Carson Wentz is an average quarterback, a little bit above average at times, but overall, he's alright. Overall, the Dolphins could draft him with the 5th pick in the NFL draft or trade up and get a top 16 pick and draft Herbert. If they drafted Herbert, most likely they would be able to get him with the 5th pick, or they would have to trade up with their 18th and 26th pick and get an 8th pick so then they can have 2 top 10 picks. Overall, I think Herbert would be the best move for the Miami Dolphins and help them to be one of the best teams in their division and grow as a team as they go through this rebuilding process. Here's the first top 5. Please remember, if you like the video, to like and subscribe. All the support is greatly appreciated. Also, the link down below, I'm an article writer for Overtime Heroics. I'll be linking the link to my latest article while I was a tongue twister. I'll be linking the link to my latest article, which is about this, down in the link below. Please remember to give it a view, read a little bit. And thank you guys. Please remember to like and subscribe, click the notification bell, and peace out.